Today, I'm going to upgrade my Scotty rod holders. Before I do the upgrade, I'm going to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of the Scotty rod holders. Some issues that I have found with mine is it's hard plastic. That can cause problems with the handles on some rods. Now, if you have an EVA handle or a high quality cork handle, it may not be a problem. But if you have a low grade cork handle or a cork wrap like what you see on a Whisker Seeker, it can cause problems. It can start chipping, it can start coming apart when you're using hard plastic like this. I've also found an issue where it is difficult to get this in that perfect position. Although this thing has like 100 different positions it can be in, when you're on the kayak and fiddling with all the screws and everything on it, it's really a chore to get it where you want it to be. About the only advantage to it is the ability to remove it. Other than that, I want to try something different. I want to put those wire rod holders with the soft plastic onto the Nucanoe, which for this video is going to be a Driftmaster, the 1/2-inch version. This will also work for monster rod holders as well. If I didn't have store credit with Academy Sports, I would have bought monster rod holders instead. Now this is a requirement if you're using monster rod holders or Driftmasters. It's got a 1/2-inch channel which will fit both the monster rod holder and the Driftmasters, and it's got this thin metal on the sides. The reason for that is to be able to drill these holes bigger. The bolts that hold this on the track, they're 1/4-20s. That's not a 1/4-inch hole. So I'm going to have to use a 1/4-inch drill bit to drill these two holes out so I can fit this onto the channel. So I'm going to start taking this stuff apart and start drilling that up and then put this all back together. And stay tuned, after the rod holders I have something special I'm going to show you. When you're drilling on anything, always wear protection. This is an all-purpose bit. I probably should have bought a metal bit, but I saved a couple of bucks because this already has holes pre-drilled in it. So it, in theory, should not burn this multi-purpose bit up. That was easy. Here's one of the create your own track bolts. It's a 1/4-20. Fits through there perfectly. It was so fast it didn't warm it up either. Fits through there perfectly. Now we're ready for one rod holder. I'm going to drill up the other one and then start putting this together on the kayak, or Nucanoe. Two of them. Now that I got the impossible to remove packaging off the Driftmasters, I'm going to take the Scotty rod holders off. Okay. Now to be able to mount Scotty rod holders onto the track system, you actually have to buy these Mighty mounts. And I think that adds about $25 to the entire cost, which I think makes the Scotty rod holder system more expensive than a Driftmaster or a monster rod holder. Has two Mighty mounts on it. And then I'm going to just line this up, make sure it fits. Another thing you're going to need is some thread lock with these, because you don't want this coming loose on a kayak. So when you put this together, you put this nut on first, and then you screw it down to where you want it to be. Put it in that perfect position, and then use thread lock just to hold it there. And you don't want the threads to go further than the bottom of this, because it's a flat fit on the channel. So I'm going to aim this sideways out of the kayak. This also makes it so I could swap sides and make it aim the other direction if I want to anchor on the front of the boat. There we go. I think I've run into a problem here. You can see these are too big for this. So when I use it to lock it down, it might actually be in the way. What I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and get some stainless steel 1/4-20 nuts. Well then, I didn't actually have to go to the hardware store. And see, stainless steel 1/4-20 nuts, and I've got stainless steel 1/4 lock washers. Lock washers can help hold it in place. One thing I could do is carry a wrench on the boat with me if I really want to move these. I can just use the wrench to loosen them up and then move them wherever I need to go. As long as I don't put any thread lock on these. So I'm just lining everything up at this point. It's going to be a tight fit. There we go. I'm not going to tighten this all the way down. I'm going to just look at it overall and see where I want to mount it semi-permanently. As you can see, when it's an open design like this and not a closed design like the Scotty rod holder, I can take any position at any time quickly. Perfect for drifting, anchor bite. It's not perfect, but I think this is a cleaner install. Now I'm going to get the other one installed, and then I'm going to show you the bonus that I was talking about earlier. So I put the trolling motor on so I could put the seat on and see where it's at, making sure that the seat's not hitting the handle on the trolling motor. And then I put the rod holders right next to the seat. I've seen this configuration before with other people where they put the rod holders as close as the seat as possible. As you can see, rod holders like this is meant for the handle, so it's completely out of the way of my seat and my feet will be up here. If you can think of a better configuration, let me know. Now for the bonus, I'm changing around my camera stick. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a 3/4 inch three-way here and put the camera right here, and then I'm going to continue up for my LED light. So let me get this thing put together. Sometimes you have to compromise in 100 different ways. This is not coming off of here, so I'm just going to cut this. Always use the right tool for the job. This is a PVC pipe cutter. I used to use copper cutters on PVC pipe, which was a nightmare, and I learned that off another friend. I'm not even measuring this, I'm just eyeing it. I don't want it too terribly high. And as you can see, this is pointed up sideways a little bit. With just a twist of this, it's almost level. And then an LED light to light up the boat. So this is perfect for nighttime filming. You can do this with a GoPro too. You would just either have to put a GoPro adapter on here or put the standard camera mount accessory for a GoPro on here. If I find that this isn't tall enough, this is not glued together, so I can just put a longer PVC pipe in here. And this is just a DC light, so I'll be plugging this into my little jump starter I have. That jump starter can keep this on for 8 hours, and that jump starter cost me 30 bucks at Harbor Freight. So there you have it, a couple of new mods for my Nucanoe. Hopefully I'm going to take this out soon to test this out. Thanks for watching. Please give me a like and subscribe.